Welcome to Underworld UK, where Britain's darkest stories are brought to light. From the gritty streets of gangland London, Liverpool, Manchester and Birmingham, from Curtis Warren to the Cray twins to county lines and modern day true crime, we cover everything. Bringing you new videos every week. Subscribe so that you'll be notified when the next video is put out.
Police are hunting for potential victims of a convicted rapist, with as many as 318 people needing to be traced and tested for HIV. A very predatory man, convicted of rape and reckless transmission of HIV, may have hundreds of other victims. That is the stark warning issued by the Metropolitan Police. The force is working closely with partners to identify further victim survivors after an investigation led to a man getting jailed for rape and reckless transmission of a sexually transmitted disease. Jonathan Carl, aged 42, from Hornchurch in East London, was sentenced to 17 years in prison at Snaresbrook Crown Court last month. He had been found guilty of rape and had earlier pleaded guilty to causing grievous bodily harm. Carl, a former hairdresser, was caught after two of his victims met up socially. They described similar experiences, realised they had been targeted by the same man, and reported him at Romford Police Station. Carl, who lived on Station Lane in Hornchurch, mainly met people at his home address from the local area of East London and Essex, including Havering, Redbridge, Barking and Dagenham. Officers recovered more than 400 of Carl's digital contacts aged between 17 and 60 on gay dating apps, including Grindr and Scruff, spanning 4 years. Detective Superintendent Lewis Beresford told the BBC, "More alarming was the message contents, which highlighted to us that there were victim survivors out there of rape, where he had met individuals and subsequently they were messaging him and challenging him on some of the acts that we would define as rape. At least 82 men have been identified so far and fast-tracked into the NHS for screening after being informed of Carl's health status, according to the Met. It's illegal to intentionally or recklessly transmit a sexually transmitted infection. Under the Offences Against the Person Act, it amounts to grievous bodily harm." Carl was also served with a 15-year sexual prevention order. He must notify police within 3 days of having a new sexual partner and must disclose his HIV status if he's not taking his medication. One of Carl's victims told police he felt powerless, as though there was nothing I could do. "It made me feel like I didn't matter. It made me feel less than human. The main reason I came forward to police was to stop this from happening to anyone else." Another victim said, "It has damaged me from having any sort of romantic relationship in the future due to people's overall thoughts on HIV. It makes me fry my brain as I overthink what I could have done differently. I still struggle with this guilty feeling." Detective Superintendent Beresford stressed the importance of every victim survivor having a choice and a decision about whether to speak to police or seek medical help. He explained that Carl had made the decision not to take his medication for HIV. During all of the encounters and interactions he had with individuals, he also chose to lie about his status. Whilst the law doesn't require someone to disclose that status, what we can prove is that he was reckless in terms of transmission, knowing all of those facts. Detective Chief Inspector Sarah Bishop, who led the investigation, said, "Our investigation uncovered the scale of Carl's offending and ensured he were brought to justice. But we remain extremely concerned about the well-being of those who have not yet been identified. We believe as many as 318 men may be victims and might need to come forward for testing and support." Police said their investigation began in January 2024 after a man reported waking up to being raped following a meeting with Carl. A second allegation was also made, relating to an earlier offence in October 2022. Detectives acted swiftly, arresting Carl on the 25th of January to prevent further offending. He was identified through digital download examinations and co-location data from victim and suspect phones. Then he was charged on the 4th of February with rape and grievous bodily harm. The investigation involved detailed analysis of his phone, including call logs, messages, social media and cell site data. This revealed Carl had used multiple dating apps, including Grindr and Scruff, to meet victims. Detectives believe he had sexual contact with up to 400 people over 4 years. So far, 82 men have been identified and spoken to. They've been advised by the NHS after being informed of Carl's health status. However, police believe hundreds more may still be unaware. Police have appealed for potential victims to come forward, saying, "You may have met Carl through an online dating platform or visited his home address in Hornchurch, which is distinctively located above a fish and chip shop. Your health and well-being are our absolute priority. We are working closely with NHS partners and charities to ensure anyone affected can access confidential testing, advice and support. Please be assured you are not alone. We are here to help." Carl was ultimately convicted at Snaresbrook Crown Court on 1 count of rape and 1 count of Section 20 grievous bodily harm for reckless transmission of HIV. Anyone who may have had contact with Jonathan Carl is urged to contact detectives directly on 02 175 273. You can also email survivors@met.police.uk. To contact police, dial 101 or use the online reporting system and quote reference CAD 2972 19th September 25. Confidential support is also available through NHS Sexual Health Services or specialist charities, including SHL, Galop, Positive East, The Havens or SARCs. To remain anonymous, you can contact the independent charity Crime Stoppers on 0800 555 111.
Police are trying to trace more than 300 men who may have been raped and contracted HIV from this man, convicted sex attacker Jonathan Carl. Before he was jailed in June, detectives discovered he'd spent years using dating apps, all while not taking medication for the virus. Julian Drucker has the story, and just to warn you, there are some upsetting details in what you're about to watch.
Me? Yeah, afraid so. You're under arrest for an allegation of rape and GBH, 2 allegations actually.
Rape?
Yeah.
The arrest of Jonathan Carl, who ended up being jailed for 17 years, not only for rape, but infecting another man with HIV through not taking his medication.
I don't get it.
Now police are seeking possibly hundreds more men who may have also been sexually attacked or could unwittingly be living with HIV passed on by Carl.
We are looking for victim survivors of rape, but also if you believe that you are a victim of reckless transmission by Jonathan Carl, then we will take that investigation if the victim survivor wishes to address that and come to us. But my aim in that particular aspect is just to ensure that individuals get the right health support and overall support that they deserve.
Police believe Jonathan Carl had sexual contact with up to 400 men over 4 years. This was mainly with individuals from his nearby areas in East London and Essex like Barking, Dagenham, Havering and Redbridge. So far, 82 men have been identified, with some testing positive for HIV. It means around 318 men have not yet been traced. Police fear some may have been raped. Carl met the men via gay dating apps with messages like these.
It's damaged me from having any sort of romantic relationship in the future due to people's overall thoughts on HIV.
2 of the men who've since come forward have shared their stories in this police campaign video, in which their words have been revoiced.
I felt there was nothing that I could do. I'd just been raped and I couldn't change what had happened.
While this new appeal is about finding those who may have been attacked, detectives and medical experts stress they also want to give crucial information to those who may need it.
The way we used to think about HIV has completely changed. We used to be all very fearful of HIV, that it was a death sentence. But now treatments have improved significantly. We can't cure HIV, but we can certainly optimise treatment.
The judge at his trial described the former hairdresser as predatory. Police say they remain extremely concerned for the still unknown 300 men who came into contact with him. Julian Drucker, 5 News.